Can you guess what these 4 songs have in common? Today Was a Good Day by Ice Cube, Big Papa by the Notorious B.I.G., I by Kendrick Lamar, and Hip Hop Hooray by Naughty by Nature. If you guessed correctly, you know that they all sample one of the most iconic bands of all time, and that is the Isley Brothers. Now, the Isleys are responsible for so many of our favorite songs in music history, and today we're gonna get into that. My name is Elsie, and you're watching Off the Record. More than any other band or artist, you could actually follow the evolution of black music just through the Isley Brothers. They had this crazy ability to adapt to the soundscape, constantly changing their sound to mirror the times. Over an astonishing 8 decades, and as the Isleys lineup changed, one thing remained constant. They gave us bop after bop after bop. Now, the Isley Brothers started out in their hometown of Cincinnati as a vocal trio, making gospel music during the 50s. They made their first mark though when they moved on to rock and roll in the 60s and broke out with Shout. Then in the early 70s, they expanded their lineup to include 2 more Isley brothers and a brother-in-law who were all instrumentalists. This was the start of the Isleys as we know them today. This new lineup of brothers coincided with the group leaving Motown and also their transition to funk music. Their first funk hit was It's Your Thing, an in-your-face jam that featured Ronald Isley's trademark vocals and his brother Ernie's bass grooves. Their iconic album Go For Your Guns was released during this time in 1977, and that album featured Footsteps in the Dark, which we can also thank for giving us Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day. Now, by the end of the 70s, the Isley Brothers were exploring disco sounds on 1979's Winner Takes All. And then they slowed things down to give us one of the best Quiet Storm albums in 1983 with Between the Sheets. And let's not forget the slow jams on their comeback albums, Mission to Please and Eternal. You see, when you work across so many decades, you're gonna have more than one comeback album. In fact, the Isley Brothers are so iconic that they occupy a unique spot in music history. They're the only group to have an influence on both the Beatles, who famously covered the Isleys' version of Twist and Shout, and Jimi Hendrix, who actually got his start playing guitar for the Isley Brothers. And although the Isley Brothers never quite made hip-hop records, their influence on rap is just as vast as the other genres they helped shape. Their breezy song, That Lady, helped to power Kendrick Lamar's anthem I to the top of the charts, and their other song, Make Me Say It Again Girl, boosted Naughty by Nature's Hip Hop Hooray as well. It's been more than 70 years since this band first started, but their music continues to inspire their peers today. Just ask Beyonce or Snoop Dogg. The Isleys are undeniably one of the greatest bands ever in American music history. And if you haven't already listened to their catalog, grab some speakers or headphones and immerse yourself in the sonic bliss that is the Isley Brothers. Now, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite Isley Brothers song or favorite song that sampled the Isleys? Leave a comment and let's have a conversation. There's so many amazing albums that have flown under the radar this year. And one of my favorite things about hosting a show like this is that I get to talk about all these underrated, amazing bodies of work that no one else is talking about. So let's get into it. At number 1 today, we have Open This Wall by Berlioz. Jazz lovers, this album is for you. Berlioz describes his music as if Matisse, the French visual artist, made house music. And that, I feel, is the perfect description of his sound. The fusion of jazz and house music on this project is absolutely exquisite in many ways, and this album feels really liberating. Berlioz is able to create this world sonically, and I'm just glad jazz is beginning to make its way back into all our rotation. So this is a great one I'll definitely recommend. At number 2, we have The Year I Turned 21 by Ira Starr. Ira is one of my favorite acts out of the African continent right now, and this sophomore album reinforces my confidence in that belief. There's a little bit of everything on this album for everyone. Ira effortlessly switches between party bops and anthems and more introspective ballads, and her voice is just so effortless and beautiful to listen to. This was just an amazing project, and you had to listen to it to get what I'm saying. Next up, we have Dead Stock by Devin Malik.
Now, this is Devin's debut project, and the energy on here is electric. Devin Malik actually started out his music career as a producer for Azia Rashad and TDE by extension. He was featured on Schoolboy Q's latest project, Blue Lips, and the production on this project definitely does not disappoint. Every single track on here is out of the box and experimental in some way, and Devin's energy in his delivery is so contagious. Next on my list, we have Sign Blue by Charlotte Day Wilson. Now, this was my first time listening to a full project by this artist. I actually heard her on a song called Still off Kaytranada's recent album Timeless, and I fell in love with her vocal texture immediately. So as usual, I went looking for more music by her, and this album is easily one of my favorite discoveries of the year. Charlotte's tone is unlike anything I have ever heard before. It's so unique and soulful, and the production just provides a lush backdrop for her incredible songwriting. This is one of those projects that you just have to listen to understand where I'm coming from. It's beautiful. It's a 10 over 10 in my opinion. And finally, on my list for today, we have Cafe Noir by Flower Child and Grim Lynn. Now, listening to this album makes me feel like I'm in a dimly lit late night jazz club. It is the perfect combination of groovy, funky, and soulful. If you're a fan of smooth R&B, then this album is right up your alley. Until then, I recommend giving these albums a listen and let me know which ones you enjoy the most in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media, and stay tuned for more episodes of Off the Record with me, your host, Elsie, only on REVOLT.